But you can see that Louisville, we've got some light rain falling, but the worst of the weather is still well away from you. Heaviest weather now is moving through western Choctaw County, very close to the city of Ackerman, but also Ware, Mississippi, up Highway 9 and 15. The Natchez Trace Parkway runs through here too. And again, the back edge of this wind signature in Webster County is about to be crossing over into Calhoun County. And again, tornado warnings continue there as well, all the way up into southwestern Pontotoc County. So southeastern Yalobusha, Calhoun, Chickasaw, southwest Pontotoc, and a very small tip of Monroe County in western west of Amory, west of Aberdeen. So again, what you see is what you get. Lance mentioned, at some point, probably every county in our coverage area is probably going to be in a severe weather or tornado warning. And this just is trying to capture the potential for widespread damaging winds with these storms, as well as individual spin-up tornadoes. Again, we continue to watch this storm down here. Again, no formal tornado warning on this storm, but again, you can see our Barron system indicating a shear lock, indicating rotation there. So it looks like that storm's going to be moving up to the north and east toward Kemper and maybe Knoxville counties. And that's something that we'll have to watch very closely for additional tornado concerns and potentially significant tornado concerns because, traditionally, line segments like this don't produce the really big tornadoes. They can happen in these sorts of setups, but it's relatively rare. However, these cells out ahead of the main line, those are the ones that can produce a significant type tornado. We have that threat today. Thankfully, the storms came in a little bit faster, but we still are having time for some of these storms to stay ahead of the main line. And as long as that remains the case, we might have, again, still that strong to significant tornado potential with this storm west of Meridian moving north and east, staying ahead of the line, moving toward Kemper County. That's something to keep very close tabs on. But again, the reason we're still here with you is the fact that we have a tornado warning in effect for Choctaw County as well as Webster County as well as western Winston County as well. So again, the worst of the weather still is basically from Eupora down through Ware, Mississippi, down to just west of Ackerman, moving north and east. And again, we want to bring in Jackson too. He's been watching the reports here. Lance and Dylan about to give us some new information as well. But we'll go to Jackson first for any additional updates from the Weather Service and anything you've seen on social media.
Yeah, no additional warnings or reports so far. What I've seen is just more reports of trees down in various counties and cities. We have a spotter report of a tornado nearly on the ground. That was 6 miles southeast of Newton. But other than that, things looking a little bit quieter than they were just 15 minutes ago when we had lots more reports. It looked like we did have a tornado on the ground at some point in the past there. Whether these storms are reorganizing or not, redeveloping that rotation. As Isaac and Lance and Dylan have mentioned, a lot of these storms having rotation, intense rotation for very brief periods, spin-up tornadoes. That's what we're watching right here. But at the moment, we have not had too many more serious reports.
Yeah, and I think Dylan and Lance have some additional information in the Weather Center.
Go ahead, Dylan.
That's right. Yeah. Isaac is on our high-tech radar system here, trying to see if we can get a visual of this storm, this independent storm structure just south of I-20, near just to the south of Newton, Mississippi. I'll circle it on your screen. This is the type of storm we're looking out for and keeping an eye on today. Where I've circled, that's what we call a hook echo, where an area of heightened rotation is in this thunderstorm. And because it's all out by itself, you can see these reds and greens on radar, winds going towards and away from the radar site over in Jackson. Those are getting pretty strong. The circulation's tightening up, and as Jackson mentioned, there's a spotter on this storm.
We got a spotter report of a rotating wall cloud down near the cell in Newton.
Yes, rotating wall cloud, a funnel cloud, and there it is. New tornado warning just populated on that storm. So this is the first tornado warning of the day for a storm that is discrete. It is by itself. It is in a favorable environment to be long track and possibly produce a tornado, maybe even a strong tornado. And just because our viewing area in our counties, can you give me a speed on that, Lance or Jackson? How fast is that?
50.
We got it, 50 miles per hour.
50 miles per hour. I'll track this storm out. It may be moving a little bit quicker than that. off to the north and east, I'll go 53 miles per hour. Get a little storm track going here. But this will be moving toward portions of southeastern Neshoba County, southwestern Kemper County, and eventually up towards Macon, Noxubee County, Lowndes County, Columbus. So if you're along in our viewing area, Pickens County, Lowndes County, Noxubee, Kemper, Neshoba, areas like that, and especially areas along the Mississippi and Alabama border, this storm, if it can keep its strength and remain organized, it could track for a long period of time. It may produce a tornado that is long tracked, maybe even strong. The atmospheric parameters we have today are favorable for that. So this is just a recent development. This is kind of the one lone storm that's held its ground. It formed just to the west of Hattiesburg and is now crossing I-20, getting closer and closer to our viewing area. So as these storms with a big-time damaging wind threat, lightning, heavy rain move closer through our area, we'll continue to keep an eye to the south on this singular supercell crossing I-20, moving toward us.
Yeah, and this is the cell. I've got a couple chasers on it right now who are reporting a ton of updraft energy into it, not on the ground right now. It has not made contact with the ground, but it does have a funnel associated with it as it keeps moving to the northeast. This is the area we're most concerned about. The upper level support across this region and then really closer to the Alabama-Mississippi state line is where that upper level support is greatest for the potential for a long track type tornado. As Dylan was just mentioning there as well, this is the type of setup right here where we could see that happening. So if you're in Newton or around Newton, or you got somebody down there in Newton, I know it's outside of our coverage area, call them, text them, make sure they're aware of what's going on. Right around I-20 points northeastward. And this storm will continue to move northeast and will move fairly quickly. We said earlier, 50 miles per hour. 50-55. So not much time to take shelter if you're out ahead of it. Go ahead and get into that tornado.
Especially in Kemper County.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. We want to go ahead and make those plans right now and put those in motion.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of just illustrating exactly where this storm is going relative to our coverage area. And again, that's a very dangerous-looking storm kind of moving into, again, you guys just mentioned, just south of Philadelphia, moving north and east. Again, yeah, so let's have links one behind me. Thank you. And so what we're watching here north of that singular storm is other areas to watch. Again, our radar system telling us there might be some developing circulation on southeastern Attala County and parts of maybe southwestern Winston County. Again, Louisville technically still in a tornado warning, I believe until 2:30, so that's another 25 minutes. But also I want to call attention to the Calhoun-Webster County line. Our shear rate product really honing in on a couple of pockets of red, indicating some stronger wind potential north of Eupora, again, right on the county line of Webster and Calhoun. Again, these areas also in a tornado warning. And again, there are pockets of some at least weak rotation, but at this point, I don't see anything incredibly tight, but I do see, again, that surge in the reflectivity that often can correlate with a surge in the wind, and really just an odd setup this afternoon when you talk about just how things are evolving. We have this area of low pressure spinning near Grenada that's sort of helping push this out to the north and east and wrap in more favorable air to the northeast too. And I know Lance has some additional information, and we'll send it back over to the Weather Center.
Yeah, Newton County, that one that's just south of us that is now on the ground. We've got a spotter that is chasing that tornado that is confirmed on the ground south of there. Dylan's pulling it up on radar for us. You can see that rotation right there just north, crossing I-20 right now. No time to be on the roads. Nobody needs to be on the roads, period. Even without the, say that you don't have a tornado through your region right now, through your area, the intense heavy rainfall makes this very dangerous to be driving out in this. We need to be cautious on the next couple of hours, taking this seriously. There's that rotation that he's circling right now, moving to the northeast. Again, that's south of our area, but we're still keeping track of these storms as they move into our region as well.
Yeah, so a confirmed tornado down here in the Newton County region south of Philadelphia. And again, as a heads up, if this storm holds together, it's going to be tracking out across portions of Neshoba, Kemper, and maybe Noxubee counties, as well as Pickens County. in West Alabama. Again, this is ahead of the main line. But the actual main line continues to produce tornado warnings, again, up and down the line, starting in Calhoun County, curving back through eastern Webster County, east of Eupora, right down into Ackerman, and then down into western parts of Winston County near Louisville. Again, our radar system still telling us that there is some potential strengthening circulation right here southwest of Louisville, close to the Four Corners community is where that potential circulation is, right on Highway 25 right there. You head out of Winston County and go into Leake County there too, running into Carthage. Again, I'm not seeing anything incredibly tight, but again, we're a little bit high in the sky here for the radar beam. In fact, about 6,800 feet. So there's definitely potentially a kind of a mesocyclone that's rotating, but is it producing a tornado on the ground? We can't confirm that, which is good. We hope that we don't have any confirmed tornadoes in our coverage area today, but we know there's that one down in Newton County, just south of us, that is on the ground based on spotter reports, and we will certainly track that going forward. But looking at other pockets of wind here south of Calhoun City, we've got Highway 9 right through here and Highway 8 that comes out of Vardaman, Sweet Potato Land there, over into Calhoun City. And there are some signs that there could be some pretty strong wind gusts in there as well. But I don't see anything confirmed on the ground. And again, if you're just joining us, and wondering what, if we're talking about Columbus or not, Vernon, Tupelo, if we're not talking about your region, you do not have anything to worry about. That's the reason, and that's kind of our policy here. If we're not on television, you don't need to worry about it, but we are on TV this afternoon, and so you do need to be worried in counties and cities and roads and landmarks that we're calling out. Again, we have 3 tornado warnings, 2 in our coverage area. We've got Choctaw, Western Oktibbeha, and Eastern Webster and Western Winston counties until the bottom of the hour. The time is now 2:09. And then we've got southwestern Pontotoc, Calhoun, Chickasaw, Western Monroe, and extreme southeastern Yalobusha County. That one also, I believe, going until 2:30. So both of these warnings go until 2:30. And then we have the one down in Newton County that is not in our television market, but could wind up in our television market soon, especially if it continues to hold together, which this definitely has the more impressive rotational signature on it. But anywhere along this line up to the north also showing signs of at least weak rotation. But again, I just want everybody to kind of focus in, especially if you live in Kemper or Knoxville counties, on this storm to the south and west. Definitely could be our troublemaker a little bit later on in the day, especially as the environment over here is very favorable for a sustained tornado threat. Again, not to say we can't get spin-ups along here to the north, but at the moment, these are the same storms, though, that produced damage back over Vicksburg and Jackson, southwest of town there. And now they're moving up into the north and east. I'll pull up, still on Links 1, I'm going to pull up the Louisville Skycam, and you can see still that we've got some pretty nasty weather, but no tornado-producing weather, at least in the near term. I know, again, anxiety is high in Louisville. The sirens have sounded. And any time Winston County gets under a tornado warning, again, everybody just wants to know where is it or what's happening. And we're here to tell you that everything is still west of the city of Louisville, down here toward Four Corners. So that still gives you a few more minutes to think about going to shelter in Louisville. We don't want to really play around with this. There is some damaging wind potential, no doubt about it, with this storm kind of coming out of Attala into western Winston. Really, again, all along this line, whether you live in Calhoun County or Winston County, anywhere that there is flashing red, there is a potential for damaging winds and a spin-up tornado. Again, if you live in Grenada right now, the severe weather threat's basically winding down for you because you're now in that rain-cooled air. But on the backside of this sort of comma head feature that we expected, basically there is a temperature boundary in here that is allowing these storms to continue to sustain themselves and move into an environment that is more favorable for storm either maintenance or storm strengthening. And again, I know they're looking at some stuff southwest of Louisville, and that was where our system was telling us there might be some strengthening about 5 or 10 minutes ago. It doesn't seem to be getting any weaker, but definitely kind of holding its on here. And again, it's 2:11. The tornado warnings go until 2:30. So again, they are definitely showing you that there is some broad rotation and kind of convergence going on just northeast of Four Corners there in Louisville. So I want to take you in for a closer look here and kind of show you a little bit more of where we're kind of talking about here. Louisville, we've got lots of highways kind of coming through here. 15 goes to Knoxville, 14 goes out west, and then 25 continues you on into Leake County and ultimately Jackson. But right now we're looking at this particular area of really broad rotation, almost sort of just wind convergence, so maybe some damaging wind potential. And our shear rate product is showing some wind potential in here, but notice how there's no red or yellow in here. Yeah, so, and this is going to be something that we'll be continuing to watch for Louisville, but up into the French Camp region, which is in the western part of Choctaw County, the line has passed you. There's no tornado warning for you in French Camp, so if you live in French Camp, you can come out of your shelter. There is reports, though, of some power lines down in that area, so we have now kind of our first damage there. Also, I got a picture on our weather account, and Jackson, if you can be logged into Facebook and monitoring our messages, they tend to get hot and heavy once we get further on into the event. But we did get a picture in Vaden out in Carroll County off of Highway 35 of a tree down there as the line of storms move through. So, again, and we also just got a second report of some tree or some power lines down in the French Camp area, which is outside of the tornado warning now. And what we're seeing here, it looks like they have gone with a severe thunderstorm warning for the Golden Triangle. So this is some positive news in that they have gone with is that a tornado possible tag with the...
It is a tornado possible tag.
All right, yeah. So this is, thanks, Jackson. This is going to be for this line of storms that's moving east toward the Golden Triangle. So now we have Starkville, West Point, and Columbus in a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible. Basically, that's kind of the step below a tornado warning. Hopefully it stays that way, but we can't guarantee it. But definitely we've got potential for winds of about 60 miles per hour about to be moving into the Starkville community in about the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. I'll put a leading edge of a storm track on this and bring it out about 50 miles per hour or so, and that's gonna put it in Sturgis, which is outside of Starkville, at 220. So that would put it in Starkville at about 240. So let's give it about 20 to 25 more minutes, and it might be kind of moving into the Starkville region. And then probably Columbus, I'd say at least another hour for us before these storms reach us here in Lowndes County. And then down to the south, we still have an area that we are watching for possible rotation, but we still just don't see anything extremely tight, which is great news for our friends down in Winston County. We don't want to report ever about tornadoes crossing over Winston County. But again, I see no imminent signs of a tornado impacting the Winston County area. But I want to throw it back to Dylan and Lance in a second to get their input really on the storm. I know they're kind of watching probably the one down to the south, which is the most concerning of all of them, it looks like right now, because earlier, guys, we did have a report of it being on the ground.
Hey, I'm going to step back here. Yeah, so that is the one that we have been watching most closely, it's the one that's most concerning. It's the one that's right out in front of that line, continuing to move to the northeast. We've got several chasers on it. There's no video or pictures coming out because the data service there is just so poor, and I've been listening to them chatting back and forth. There's more and more vertical movement. There was what was reported a touchdown earlier. A lot of discrepancies whether or not that happened. Regardless, if you're out ahead of that, if you're out towards just north of now Newton, the city of Newton, north of I-20, this cell moving to the northeast is going to impact southeastern and eastern Neshoba County, Kemper County as well. You're not under a tornado warning right now. I do expect this will continue, and the polygon will be extended to the northeast if this structure maintains itself. Still some rotation along with it. A number of chasers are on that individual segment. Going back up towards us here in Starkville over to Columbus, and that one line, that main line, continue to move eastward. Southwestern and western portions of Oktibbeha County still under that tornado warning, and through Webster and off to the northeast. This will continue. Seeing a little bit more rotation showing up here. Now, let's zoom back in. Show one more shear vector that just popped up. as well. But everybody, they've got in the severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued all the way through Columbus now, including Lowndes County. That is still a tornado possible tag is what we call it. That means a tornado could quickly develop without a warning being issued. So still treat that as if you're under a tornado warning for the next 45 minutes or so. Go ahead and seek shelter in the interior hallway, doorway, closet area as that line keeps moving off to the northeast.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Lance. And y'all were mentioning that this little area northeast of Eupora in Webster County tripping a potential shear issue here. So, again, this is the reason tornado warnings continue into Chickasaw County. Crossing over the county line, we've got Highway 15 right here, and there sits Houston. Highway 8's the east-west road right here. And, again, it seems to be potentially a circulation developing where Clay, Webster, and Chickasaw counties all come together. And, again, this is the Natchez Trace Parkway that winds through here. 15 runs up to Houston, and then we've got Highway 8 right here. And again, it does look like that there might be something trying to get going just about 10 or so miles southwest of the city of Houston. Again, that's going to be moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. The actually latest update from the Weather Service in Memphis is indicating that the storm speed has slowed a little bit, but the brighter green showing up there, I want to take you in for a street level view. And, again, Gilbert Hill Road, again, there's the Natchez Trace Parkway right there. So Gilbert Hill Road as well as Mantee Road crossing over into Chickasaw County. Again, 15 runs right here as well as 389. So if I'm calling out some of these smaller communities and roads right here, you definitely want to be sheltered because technically, again, there is this tornado warning for Chickasaw County, including the city of Houston, also Calhoun County, including the city of Vardaman, and all the way over here to Okolona, where 45 alternate juts into Chickasaw County before going back up into Lee County and winding up in Tupelo. It looks like we might have a TDS with that storm south of us. So I want to bring the guys back in the Weather Center. Leave them on camera for a second because I want them to point out exactly what we're looking at here in Newton County.
Go ahead and talk about that. I'm going to pull this up on 3D real quick.
All right.
Yep.
Lance is going to try to get a 3D structure of what this thunderstorm looks like as what people and chasers are seeing on the ground. But this is that individual discrete supercell thunderstorm we were talking about that just crossed Interstate 20 near Newton, Mississippi, moving off to the north and east. It'll be approaching Kemper County fairly soon, maybe within the next 20 to 30 minutes. But what you're looking at right now is a product we have that's called correlation coefficient or debris detector. And this shows us the radar beam and what it's reflecting off of in the atmosphere. And when we get these blues and greens and darker colors, lighter colors, like I circled right here, this is giving us the indication that debris is being lofted into the atmosphere by obviously a tornado. And when we look back on this storm, it is impressive. That is a classic textbook supercell thunderstorm with the tornado potential just to the east of Decatur, Mississippi. This hook echo right here where I circled is where the potential or the tornado is. This is inflow getting wrapped into the thunderstorm, and this is a very healthy thunderstorm. I would not be surprised if this tracked a long distance up through Kemper County into Knoxville County and closer toward the Golden Triangle. This storm is all by itself, and it's being able to tap into all the moisture and instability and fuel that it needs to maintain its updraft and strength. So this is something that we're going to watch very closely. We've had reports from storm spotters on this storm that there's a rotating wall cloud, but not a tornado on the ground. And now with that correlation coefficient debris tracker product, at least briefly, we were able to confirm that debris was being lofted. This is our velocity product showing winds going toward and away from the radar, and that's indicating spinning in the atmosphere, and obviously right here where I'm circling and Lance is showing.
There's that 3D rendition showing a lowering from the cloud here. This is, again, on that same cell, just a different viewpoint. We use every tool we've got to our arsenal, but you can see a clear lowering here from the base of that cloud. And that does not mean it's not further. We're looking at the lowest radar beam that there is with this distance we are from the radar site. So we don't have a radar beam that's going any lower. The Earth is curved away, so we are looking up in the upper portions of the cloud. But you can obviously tell that lowering right there is an immediate sign of concern. And so that is along with that same cell there, moving to the northeast. You're
Most
in
likely
Kemper
a funnel
County.
cloud, Lance.
Right, a funnel cloud, wall cloud, some sort of structure that's lowering out of the cloud. And so if you're out ahead of that, now is the time. Kemper County, Neshoba County, go ahead and start taking that precaution. Get to your tornado safe place now.
I do expect a tornado warning will be issued downstream for
We
portions
have
of.
a tornado warning for Kemper and Neshoba County.
There it is, right on
Yeah, there
cue.
you go.
So,
Got it. Good job, Jackson.
southeastern Neshoba County, southwestern Kemper County, now in a tornado warning for this single cellular storm that's all by itself that's going to be moving into the area. And what time does that go until, Jackson?
That goes until 3:15.
3:15. So tornado warning now in effect for Neshoba and Kemper County until 3:15.
That's going to include Herbert Springs, Liberty, Bluff Springs, and DeKalb. So that's your, if you're in or around those areas, need to be taking shelter immediately. Western Kemper, southeastern Neshoba. We've been keeping an eye on this cell in particular. This is the one that's most concerning. The other one's still concerning. We've got other tornado warnings in our area, but this is the newest warning, one we've had most concern with this cell for the last 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, notice, guys, that it does come up to the Knoxville County line. So heads up if you're in Knoxville County. We've been saying this now for 30 minutes, that now we have even more concern that this storm's going to be moving up into your general direction, again, in Knoxville County. We still got a while to go, but again, this storm looks like it's going to be one of those long track storms that gets potentially down and stays down for a while. If nothing else, it's going to be having a persistent rotation in it and with it as it moves into western Kemper County. Dylan's got some additional information as well let's talk about Louisville really quickly. Again, the leading edge of the storm's getting closer to the city. I just want to show the Skycam again, the flag whipping around in the wind. I don't see any tornado concerns with this line here, but there is definitely some wind potential. The wind's about to get even stronger as we get into Louisville here, but I don't see any crazy signs that something's about to tornado anywhere around Louisville, which is good news. Dylan?
That's right. I've got just a little bit of additional information over here in the Weather Center. We see that Neshoba and Kemper counties are under that new tornado warning for this cell we've been watching for quite some time. I think it's important to note that Philadelphia in Neshoba County, the county seat, is not included in the tornado warning. There are no concerns of a tornado in Philadelphia. It's just the far southeastern corner of Neshoba County. Now, Philadelphia, you'll still be affected by thunderstorms, some strong wind gusts, heavy rain, lightning, thunder, all that good stuff. But the main concern for a tornado is in southeastern Neshoba County. And just in the most recent scans, that storm, you see the purple showing up on reflectivity, seems to be getting even stronger. We're seeing some lightning uptick. So this storm gives us all indications that it will be long track, that it will stay healthy and rotate for a long time as it crosses through Neshoba County and Kemper County. Isaac mentioned that warning does go to the Knoxville County line. So Knoxville County, Sugarlock, Macon, you're not under a tornado warning, but just keep in mind the storm is moving in your general direction. If you are in Kemper County, the immediate concern would be for DeKalb and Scuba, Mississippi, as this storm will be crossing into Kemper County, Mississippi fairly soon, within the next 15 to 20 minutes, crossing Highway 16 eventually, 397 and 39. Isaac?
Yeah, appreciate that, Dylan. Also, Portersville is going to be included in that as well down in Kemper County. Again, that's the storm to watch. I think this is going to be definitely our more problem-producing storm. It may only clip Knoxville County, but you're just as important as everybody else. So we're going to watch that closely. I will point out in the system that they were just talking about, this gray cylinder right here near Decatur, that is the radar system telling us that there was a debris signature, and there probably still is one there. But they caught that earlier, Lance and Dilla did, of a debris signature with this, and that's what that gray cylinder, we never want to show a gray cylinder on our radar system because, again, that is telling us that there was debris confirmed by the radar. And, again, this entire storm system is moving north and east. Again, good news up to the north. I don't see any crazy signs of rotation, but I do see signs of damaging wind. Then we don't want to take away from that. If you've been paying attention, our risk level is moderate today, and it's for tornadoes and damaging wind. We're not trying to take away from the wind potential from any of these storms. We could see wind gusts over 60 or even 70 miles per hour in some of these storms. But I do want to point out that everybody downstream of the tornado warning, so Starkville, West Point, Louisville, Macon, Columbus, Amory, Aberdeen, Tupelo, you are all in severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see no flashing red beyond the two storms that we initially had issued. Now, we are going to watch this Kemper County storm because I do believe that that's going to continue to cause us some headaches later in about 30 or 45 minutes. But in the near term, the two tornado warnings that we've got flashing in our coverage area are going to be going away, I think, at 2:30 with no additional downstream tornado warnings being issued. So that's a good sign of things to come. Again, we might get more warnings. Again, we know the environment is capable of producing tornadoes anywhere in advance of this entire line segment, all the way up to the Tennessee line over into northwest Alabama, down Highway 43, basically down from Walker, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, Hale, Marengo, Choctaw counties back to the Alabama line in a tornado watch until 7 o'clock. If you live along and west of this line, your severe weather threat is basically done because you're in that rain-cooled air back behind this line. I'll actually pull up the Jackson radar, and you can see that there's absolutely nothing going on behind it. So once this line moves through, we are going to be done with severe weather chances. You can see southwestern Mississippi still dealing with a few storms there, but it doesn't look like that's going to be able to make it up here, which is good news. Again, just kind of coming back to our coverage area. Again, we're coming up on 2:30 at the bottom of the hour, and hopefully the tornado warnings here flashing will expire soon, other than the Neshoba-Kemper County storm. I think we'll be dealing with that for a while. But I have not heard of any additional damage so far. We know of some damage in Vaden, and we know of some damage in French Camp from these storms as they move through. And we probably will see some additional wind damage in places like Houston, maybe out here in Eupora and in areas near Ackerman, and then down toward Louisville. You still have the damaging wind potential, but the tornado threat does not seem to be all that impressive at the moment, again, which is good news. We had these initial onslaughts of warnings, and we thought we'd be here a while. I think we'll be with you for a while longer, if anything else, for this storm down here in Kemper County. But again, it is encouraging to me to see the Weather Service go with severe thunderstorm warnings versus tornado warnings. But as I just mentioned, not 60 seconds ago, the reason that the moderate risk level 4 was issued for some of our region today was because of damaging wind potential. We expected swaths of wind damage over 60 miles per hour, even up to 70 miles per hour in some cases. And hopefully we don't get that high of a wind gust, but we know we've had some damage in French Camp and Vaden, and then points back to the west over the Mississippi Delta region from these same storms. But I just don't see anything incredibly strong on our shear rate product, which is good news. Again, these storms continuing to just sort of move north and east, again, toward the city of Tupelo, and again, ultimately toward the city of Columbus. But again, this storm down here definitely has our attention with great reason. It has produced a tornado. Our radar system confirmed it. We've had some spotters confirm that, if nothing else, at least a funnel cloud that they could see was down with that earlier. But right now we're watching, again, it's coming up on 2:30, and it looks like we have no other active warnings in our viewing area, which is good. And hopefully we can kind of toss it back to programming in a minute. I want to stay here for a little while longer and just kind of talk about what we're seeing here, and definitely throw it back to Lance and Dylan in a second and get the latest on this storm because they've been watching it more closely than I have. I've been more focused on the storms to the north of us, north of that storm in our coverage area that moving a little bit closer. In fact, I want to go back to the Louisville camera, and I'm sure, this is Louisville. I'll put this into play just so we can see the city and just be clear that this is where we're looking. And again, weather is going downhill in Louisville, but this is for a severe thunderstorm with wind gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour. There is no tornado concern for the city of Louisville at the moment, but obviously in this type of weather, you don't need to be outside. You do not need to be trying to look out the door and see what might be coming. It's just best to stay indoors in this type of weather because trees could come down, power lines could come down in this sort of situation. And so when we see winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, it's definitely cause for concern. But again, the most promising thing that I see so far is that we don't have any active tornado warnings in our coverage area at the moment. They have been all replaced with severe thunderstorm warnings. So that is good news. I'll kind of drag in the we'll say on that the Louisville camera, but while I do that, I want to bring in our Columbus camera as well and tell you that things aren't looking too bad here. We're looking west, so we're going to be kind of watching these storms as they approach in the next 30 minutes to an hour. It looks like they're still at least that far away, but you can see that no threatening weather in the city of Columbus, unlike in Louisville where, again, the weather continues to be not great as the line of storms approaches. And again, we'll throw back the radar, and so you can see that basically the worst of the weather is on top of you right now in Louisville. And typically when we look at this velocity product, we'd like to see red and green if we want a tornado, which we never do, and we do not see that. We see kind of a line, and there's definitely some wind along this line, but I do not see any imminent tornado danger at the moment. Which is good news. I do want to just kind of look back to the north and see any other potential issues, and I just don't see any other imminent tornado development either. So I do want to check in with Dylan and Lance again before we hopefully can go back to programming at least temporarily. We are going to have to address that storm coming out of the south, though, eventually. I think, guys, and y'all are kind of talking things over. And again, it looks like it's going to be coming into Kemper County here shortly with a very tight circulation still in progress.
That's right. It is just now in the far southeastern corner of Neshoba County. Looks like it just crossed Highway 19 and will very soon be moving into Kemper County toward the community of Moscow, Cleveland, Bluff Springs, DeKalb.
Yeah. Back it out a little bit here and take me, Shane. Come back to me. So the radar site that Shane told me about, there we go. Okay, so the radar site that's looking into this cell is way up here. It's north of us. It's north of us in Columbus, looking way down here to the south, and we're looking at the very top of that cell. So zoom on back in. Let's go and take us full screen again.
8,000 feet is the radar beam height.
Go and take us full screen again. Shane, there you go. So you're looking up at the top of the cloud where there's a strong rotation. That is a concern, to say the least, because that is the last spot that you're going to see that strong rotation. You're going to see a much stronger rotation at the base of the cell. So we're keeping an eye on that. Now let's go ahead and take us down to Viper. I'm going to show you exactly what it looked like just a few minutes ago when we had a better viewpoint on the cell when it was just southwest and it was closer to the other radar site back in Jackson. This is a telltale sign of a very strong inflow into the cell. You can see the leaning structure of the storm with a very strong inflow. That allows for that rotation to begin spinning. That allows for that tornado. More and more evidence that this is a potential this has the potential making for a supercell thunderstorm with a potentially strong tornado. This is the setup that we were worried about all day yesterday. This is why the Storm Prediction Center has been watching this so closely. It's why we've been advertising it, talking about it so much, is because it's a concerning dynamic. I'm going to switch us back now to the velocity mode within that, and you can see we talk about this all the time, where you have competing winds, green going towards the radar site, red going away. So you can see that very, very tight gradient. Again, this was a few minutes ago when we had a better viewpoint on the radar, or with this cell, because it was closer to the radar site. Now it is really in between. And let's go and go back to links 2. And Dylan has got us circled exactly where that is. Shane, let's take us, there we go. Again, southeastern Neshoba and then western Kemper, and it is beginning to get a little bit closer to the radar site, but still showing a very strong rapid rotation with it. I'm checking to see, Jackson, is anything in chat about this quite yet?
About the Newton storm?
Yeah, on confirmation. Okay, looks like potential tour exiting. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we just got a funnel cloud report northeast of Newton at 2:30. Somebody said it looks like it could produce at any moment, but other than that, we don't have too many reports. Just more reports of multiple pine trees down 4 miles south of Lena. 40-mile-per-hour winds right now in Pontotoc with that severe thunderstorm. And then we have more reports of trees that fell down in Laurel, Mississippi. But no reports with that Newton storm at the moment.
Yeah, and take us back to Viper. There you go. You've got it. Circle that real quick and show them where the that blue, that lowered correlation coefficient shows that there was something up in the atmosphere as this storm moved to the northeast. And, of course, it's decreasing, not getting as good of a view right here, but that does confirm that something touched down at that point.
Just north of Decatur, it looks like.
Absolutely. And then now pushing on in through Kemper County, and Neshoba County, and then now crossing into Kemper.
Yep. So right now, as we speak, it's probably crossing from Neshoba County into Kemper County, moving northeast. There's a lot of lightning with this storm. There's a lot of precipitation, heavy precipitation with this storm. You're not going to be able to see it. Don't go to church. Don't try to go outside and get a view or take a picture of this. This is a dangerous thunderstorm that means business, and you need to treat it as such. So if you are in Kemper County along Highway 397, 16, 39, in the cities of DeKalb, Scuba, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now, taking shelter. You should have been 15 minutes ago, but now is your last chance. You need to get into your tornado safe place right now, because this thunderstorm has a history of producing a tornado and may very well produce one again at any moment. We've got train spotters that are on this storm, and it says it looks like it may produce at any moment, Jackson.
We do have reports of a possible tornado crossing over Highway 19 north at Newton, Neshoba, Lauderdale line.
All right, yeah, so that's confirming what you guys were saying, right on the county line there. So, again, tornado likely on the ground in Kemper County. This is just outside of our coverage area. Tight rotation moving up into areas of Highway 16, running out of Scuba and DeKalb. Again, very tight circulation that's going to be moving north and east toward the city of DeKalb and the Knoxville County line. Again, they're circling right there. It looks like County Road 729, 4300, and y'all also just right there on that county line. County to your left is Neshoba. And
Dow
county
Road,
to your
the
right is
community
Kemper.
of Damascus, Gibson Road, Highway 495, community of Moscow. Yeah, so it's moving a little bit more easterly in the past couple of scans. What is this? Oh, we've got a shear vector just popped up on the screen and completely blocked my view. But Chester Chisholm Road, Raymond Hudnall Road, Lena Floyd Road, Highway 495 South, Ross Road, Highway 493, the community of Moscow in Kemper County. If you just heard your location, you need to be in your tornado safe place now. If you're along Highway 16 in Kemper County, if you're in the city of DeKalb or to the west of DeKalb, you definitely need to be in your tornado safe place. And Knoxville County will give you an even further heads up and further warning for this storm. You're not under a tornado warning right now, but you will likely be within the next 30 minutes or so. So Macon, Sugarlock, pay attention. Listen up to us here. The storm is heading your way, and you will likely be under a tornado warning and under the gun from this storm coming up soon.
A couple more places to keep an eye on here that are in the direct path of this tornado. Big Oak Methodist Church, Shady Grove Primitive Baptist Church, New Hope United Methodist Church. Let's see, there's a couple cafes there. Air Liquid Engineering and Construction there. That's off of 493. Old Jackson Road, moving to the northeast. And again, really just points just west of DeKalb. That includes West Kemper High School, Kemper Academy, southward over towards Old Jackson Road. Most of this is looks like more rural areas, but still, regardless, of course, if you're in this area, New Hope United, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And we'll kind of takes me at links one and kind of show you what we're watching. Obviously, the storm of concern is in Kemper County, and I just want to illustrate what else is going on while we continue to watch this storm. And just for logistics and planning purposes, I think it's best to just stay with this entire line of storms, because I think in a matter of moments, Knoxville County is going to be under a tornado warning, so I don't want to go away and then have to come back. So until we see something weaken or not, which it doesn't look like that's happening at all, we're going to just stay with this coverage for a little while longer as we watch that storm in Kemper County. Everybody north of there has lots of damaging wind potential, and there are severe thunderstorm warnings galore from Knoxville County, Winston County northward through Clay, Tibaha, Lowndes, Monroe, Western Itawamba, most of Lee County, as well as Chickasaw County, for this entire line of storms that's sort of just pushing north and east. And we kind of can see this also with bright grains kind of pushing in behind it, indicating some strong wind gusts kind of potentially moving into areas near Phoebe and Una and Clay County, back to cross over into Chickasaw County as well.
We now have a tornado warning in Kemper County till 3:15, moving northeast at 45.
Okay, so they have reissued the tornado warning for Kemper County, sounds like.
It's moving a little bit slower.
What's the speed?
Adjusted the speed of 45.
Okay, yeah, so on this track, I'll just kind of draw it out, and I know they're kind of watching this too, but I want to just take its fan track out, and basically this is going to put it into Shuqualak, Macedonia, Clearman, and let's see, that's in about 30 minutes or less for Macedonia, which is just outside of Shuqualak and Macon. So what, again, we're going to see here is that, again, Kemper County, the focus for this tornado warning, but again, I imagine that Knoxville County is going to have to be added fairly soon, even though the storm speed has slowed a little bit. As we kind of just take you in for a broader look again, you can see that this storm's pretty much trucking to the north and east. And also for our West Alabama friends in Pickens County, if the storm holds together, it's likely to be crossing over into your area in the next 30 to 45 minutes as well. So again, that's definitely the storm to watch. I don't want to take away from anything happening north of us. I know we've got bad weather kind of coming into Starkville. It was 242. We've got some very heavy winds moving through. It looks like our shear rate's trying to tone in on a little bit of activity south to east of Houston and Chickasaw County. But Lance, you've got something to add.
National Weather Service going to confirm that tornado on the ground currently in Kemper County.
All right, yeah. So now we've got a confirmed tornado on the ground, as we've been mentioning, in western Kemper County. So again, this is just all the heads up you folks need in Knoxville County. So again, that's the reason we're just going to stay with this, because I do expect the tornado warning to be extended into Knoxville County unless the storm just magically weakens, which we do not expect. None of us do. We expected this to happen, and unfortunately we do see the signs of maybe something longer tracked trying to get going. And again, we're going to be watching areas out Highway 16 west of DeKalb moving north and east. Again, heads up to Macon and to Shuqualak, Macedonia, Golson, some of these rural communities in southern Knoxville County. Heads up, there's no warning yet. Tornado warning, that is. There is a severe thunderstorm warning already for Knoxville County, but chances are this is going to be upgraded as that moves in a little bit closer. As I was saying, there is some other pockets. There are some other pockets of gusty wind along the leading edge of this line, even all the way up into Lafayette County, stretching through northwestern Chickasaw County in and around Houston, and then stretching into the far northwestern part of Clay County out here toward Montpelier. Again, Phoebe, Una, the northwestern part of Clay County, the rural sections here as we take you in for a closer look here. Weber Road, up Highway 8. There's Una right there on the county line, and then crossing over into Chickasaw County, where US 45 juts into the county and then back up into Tupelo. That's the damaging wind potential that we're seeing with that line of storms. Again, this is all moving into the Golden Triangle. Columbus, we're still looking just fine. Louisville, the worst of the weather has passed you. It looks like that's going to be moving out into the north and east towards Starkville. And so the campus of Mississippi State under a severe thunderstorm warning. The city of Starkville in a severe thunderstorm warning. And you can see this line curves back up into northwest Mississippi, not too far from Oxford. But again, everybody in advance of this line has potential to see that warm, humid air give way to additional potential for storm strengthening or storm maintenance as the storms continue to move to the north and east. Again, just kind of take you out for a big picture view. Everything moving north and east here. And again, this individual storm definitely a cause for concern. There's some additional activity back southwest of Meridian as well. But it doesn't look like that's going to be able to make it into our area. Looks like the Kemper County storm definitely is the one to watch as we see the circulation continue to look very strong. Again, Weather Service going confirmed tornado here, so that means something is touching the ground, potentially doing damage, and it's going to be crossing Highway 16 shortly, and then ultimately making its way toward the Knoxville County line. And again, if you sort of just extrapolate this out, I'm going to just draw on an arrow. If it just continues to move north and east, again, it's definitely going to be impacting Knoxville County, but also maybe impacting parts of western Pickens County in the next 30 minutes. So that's just, again, early heads up. We want to give you the most lead time possible with these storms. That's what we've been trying to do all day. The entire team here watching everything closely and how these reports and how these storms are kind of coming in. Thankfully, I'll say the storms came in just a little faster, and we weren't able to quite get unstable enough as maybe we were thinking. Unfortunately, our eastern counties and into West Alabama did get unstable enough, and I think that's the reason here that this storm is able to thrive west of DeKalb in Kemper County. But I don't want to take away from the fact that we've got some pretty nasty weather. I'll see if I can get me an MDOT camera in Starkville. That's Louisville. You can see conditions have improved there. This is in Starkville on Highway 12 right here. You can see the dark clouds off in the distance. So that's probably, we're looking west here. So the leading edge of those storms definitely moving into the eastern side of town, closer to campus. Again, these cars kind of heading out of town toward campus. And then we're looking back toward the core of Highway 12 right here. Again, everybody knows this intersection with McDonald's right there. And that is definitely an area that we're watching for some gusty wind potential moving into the city of Starkville. But again, as I mentioned, there's no threat of any tornado activity there. I am watching a couple spots in Pontotoc County. Looks like there could be some gustier winds showing up there. In our shear rate products, some red showing up west of town on the Lafayette County line. This is not even in a severe thunderstorm warning, but you can just see this squiggly little line of green really just showing the entire line is capable of producing some damaging winds. You can also see some red showing up just the other side of Una, moving north and east toward 45 alternate. And again, that's the reason that most of these areas are in a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible. That's basically the step below a tornado warning. Thankfully, there is no tornado warning effect for our coverage area, but again, the reason we're staying with you is the fact that there is a confirmed tornado with this storm in Kemper County that's likely to hold together and work its way into Knoxville County shortly. So rather than go back to programming and have to come back, we're just going to stay with it because, again, all signs pointing to this storm maintaining itself and getting a little bit closer to the Knoxville County line. Again, the storm movement's about 40 to 45 miles per hour. But again, I don't see any pressing other areas to watch other than the ones I called out with the damaging wind potential, which is well within this severe thunderstorm warning. Polygon, we've got some pretty strong winds on Highway 8 East right at the 45 alternate exit right there as you make your way west toward Calhoun City and Vardaman and Houston, right there on 45 alternate. That's where some of the strongest wind is with this particular system. And this is Monroe County. And we've got Egypt Road and Watkins Lane, some of the smaller roads just south of Okolona in the western part of Monroe County, northwest of Aberdeen. That's where some of the strongest wind is. But no doubt about it, again, I can see y'all got the circulation pulled up on the other computer, and it continues to look extremely impressive. The one down to the south in Kemper County, and our shear rate definitely honing in on that potential. Just some incredible wind signature with this. And we have definitely seen debris being lofted at times with it as well. But definitely that is clear cause for concern. And I would imagine here in a matter of moments, since it is moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, places like Golson, Sugarlock, and Macon, and surrounding spots here will be under the gun shortly. So again, if you're just joining us, there's no active tornado warnings in our area, but we imagine one will be issued for Knoxville County shortly as this tornado warning storm continues to move north and east. And also for our friends in Pickens County, the Weather Service in Birmingham is also watching this same storm because, of course, if you kind of carry the track out, it's going to wind up in Pickens County and maybe southern Lamar. But we're getting ahead of ourselves there. I don't want to get too far ahead, but we are giving you that heads up that this storm definitely in Kemper County, guys watching it closely over there, continues to show signs of a tornado on the ground.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on that one. We're starting to get a little bit better radar coverage on it as it moves off to the northeast. You got it pulled up. You can see that very tight couplet right there. Almost a strong rotation as it keeps. And again, this is way up in the cloud. We're still fairly long distance away from that radar side.
Feet.
Yes, we're still 6,000 feet into the atmosphere.
So it just shows you it's a strong, tall, sustained, healthy updraft in this thunderstorm that is definitely capable of producing a tornado. The tornado warning has tagged that this is a tornado on the ground, so we need to treat it as such. We're not seeing anything as far as debris goes on our debris tracker mode, but right where I circled that matches up really nicely with a dropout in radar reflectivity. We call that a bounded weak echo region with this storm, and that's only seen in some of the strongest, most organized thunderstorms that are definitely likely producing a tornado. So this is just, it's already crossed Highway 16. It's approaching Highway 397 in Kemper County. This is kind of in the west central and northwest portion of the county. It looks like it's going to move just to the north of DeKalb. It will cross 397 here within a matter of moments, probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're traveling, or don't be traveling on Highway 397 in Kemper County, this will be approaching Highway 39 eventually, and I imagine within a matter of moments, the National Weather Service will continue this tornado warning and issue another one to extend it into Knoxville County to include cities like Macon, Sugar Lock. So if you're in those communities in Knoxville County, you need to be preparing for this thunderstorm and taking shelter because it's tracked a very long distance and it shows no sign of weakening. It is keeping its strength very well and continues to produce tornadoes.
And it's going to be running close to that other line as it keeps moving eastbound. So it's going to have a little bit of interference possibly, but if it can stay out ahead of it, it's going to maintain its structure and continue to produce at least what was confirmed as a tornado earlier. Have not seen any more additional damage reports that have come in, but it is going through a very rural location. I do know there are some more storm spotters on it. Of course, that's an area that's a hard place to chase right there. Very tall trees, got hills over there as well. It's hard to see. But so with that being said, we'll keep an eye on it, and if you're out ahead of it, go ahead and take that. Go ahead and get down to your tornado safe place right now as well. I'm listening to scanner traffic as I'm talking, trying to decipher exactly which location. They've got a few locations that do have. There was an Enterprise location that was hit earlier. I'm not exactly sure where that was, but I will say this. The rotation right now nearing Preston General Store and Coy Assembly of God. If you're near those, if those are by you, you need to be taking shelter for sure immediately.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And again, this circulation near Bloomfield and Kemper County continues to look very impressive, and we're going to continue to stay with it a little longer, again, because chances are very high Knoxville County will ultimately be added to the warning list. Now, Memphis, a weather service up there is about to issue more severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of northeast Mississippi, but have indicated not a tornado warning. So that is some good news. For our friends in and around Tupelo, all the way up to the state line. This entire line segment is going to continue to prove potential for damaging wind up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. And likely we'll see that warning pop up here shortly. They indicated they're drawing it up. And again, we are watching this storm with great interest now that's getting much closer to the Knoxville County line. And again, Lance mentioned, hopefully the line catches up to it and sort of interferes a little bit, because otherwise, if it can stay ahead of it, it's definitely going to have the heightened chance to produce a tornado. But right now, still looking very impressive in Kemper County. We've got severe storms in Starkville. Again, if you're just tuning in and wondering what's happening in Starkville, you've got really gusty winds, heavy rain, probably a little hail in there as well, but definitely some heavy rain, lots of lightning, thunder. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning continues for Oktibbeha County, but again, no imminent signs of rotation with the storms rolling into the Golden Triangle. Again, you can see the yellow outline is a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Clay, Oktibbeha, and Lowndes County. And then we're also looking at this severe thunderstorm warning stretching northward into Monroe, Lee, Itawamba, and Chickasaw counties. And then there's no formal warning for Pontotoc County, but there's definitely a strong line of storms also rolling through there. And again, everybody in advance of this line has potential to see damaging winds of at least 60 miles per hour and the low probability of a spin-up tornado. Again, everybody is kind of just watching this storm, of course, with great interest down to the south. And there are a couple of other warnings down toward Meridian. Those are moving more east at this point, or maybe a little northeast, but I don't think that we're going to have to deal with that storm on Interstate 20.
We have a tornado warning for Knoxville County till 4 p.m., moving northeast at 50.
All right, thanks, Jackson. So tornado warning now in Knoxville County. So this is the reason we stayed on. Took a little longer, but regardless of the fact, we've been on now and kind of just telling you heads up in Knoxville County for the past half an hour. And now that warning goes until, Jackson said 4 o'clock. You said 4 p.m.
It is
so
until
the next
4
hour.
p.m.
Okay, so you can see that the track here does carry it out to Macon. So cities of Macon, surrounding spots, you're now in this tornado warning until 4 p.m. Again, very strong evidence of a circulation. Dylan pointed this out earlier. That's a bounded weak echo region that's showing up, basically that little donut hole in the radar pattern indicating lots and lots of updraft motion and rotation. Indicating lots and lots of updraft motion and rotation, and that's what that is showing us. Our Barron system continues to show that low-level shear lock, which indicates lots and lots of rotation, and we just know that this storm